Ciao ragazzi, welcome back. Finally, that felt like the longest international break of my life. Sometimes I don't mind the international break. It relieves a little bit of tension, but let's just say our expectations have built up a little this season, and there's an unfinished job that really needs to be done. It's an honor and a privilege to be joined by our match preview writer, and who is going to be a match preview regular on the channel. It's Mr. Aqueel. How are you, my bruv?
Hey man, yeah, I'm doing good. How are you? How's everybody
Yeah,
doing? Are you guys ready
no
for
complaint.
this?
No complaints over here, man, and let's try and keep it that way, man. We've got a big game coming up in about 24 hours time, maybe a little bit less. It's
Mhm.
against Bologna. We've got some team news to go through. We've got our rivals team news to go through. We've got some people in the chat. Biggie AA, big up with the fire.
What's up? What's
Mo
up?
from Mo's Football Analysis and Inter-Worldwide is in the house, and Big Don Samer is in the
Yep.
house as well. So you know what? Let's start looking forward to this match, and let's just jump right into it, Akil. So
Yep.
international duty. You know what,
Yep.
bro? Once again, everybody who watched international duty must have
Yep.
thought, damn, these Inter boys are hot because our
Yeah.
boys are good, man. So before we go into Bologna, do you just want to touch a little bit about on some of the stars that impressed you on international duty, man?
Yeah, man, definitely. Right off the bat, I would want to go ahead and point out Lukaku for Belgium. Man, that guy is firing up on all cylinders right now, man. He has like 35 goals in 30 games for Belgium in recent times, and he has been superb. I think, he has evolved over time and become this, matured. He is becoming this force, and he's obviously in the top five strikers in the world right now, and
Yeah.
it is a complete blessing that he's playing for with us right now. So really happy for him. I think Lukaku was the best, and I want to touch on Skriniar as well. I think he doesn't get too much attention for playing for Slovakia. He played all three games throughout 90 minutes. He was good for them, and he ended up scoring a couple of goals as well. So yeah, he's been in terrific form. He's been in terrific form for us. He's been rock solid this season after having some struggles earlier on, but he's been great. And how can we forget our Italian boys, Barella, Sensi, Bastoni? They look pretty good too, man. And it's great to see Sensi back in action. He scored as well. And he didn't look like a player that he was injured for a while. What do you think about him?
Bro, you said it best. It didn't look like a player who's been injured. And the only explanation I can come up with, my G, is that the training regime for Mancini at the national team has got to be about 4 to 5 gears less intensive than the training regime of
Yeah.
Conte and co at Inter. And I said this to Christian Rivas and Mario during the week. I think Conte is at the point where he probably could have chosen Sensi for the last 2 months. He's
Yeah.
probably upping and ahhing over that decision. But the old
Mm,
saying is, if it isn't broke, there's no need to fix it. And our midfield has been doing bits and was such in a state of such fluidity
yeah.
that throwing in a 60% or 70% fit Sensi just
Yeah.
wasn't the option. And this is where your strength in depth just really comes
Exactly.
to show, because if you use a team like AC Milan, then you have Pioli, who was pushing players at 60% fitness to play. And
Yeah.
what happened? Just like a stack of dominoes, they all fell down at once.
Yeah.
So I think that Conte still trusts Sensi to an extent where Sensi's probably going to be here again next season. He's probably going to come off the bench a lot next
Hmm.
season. And you know what? We just might see him grind out some minutes in this campaign as well. It's definitely not said and done for Stefano Sensi, despite what most of
Yeah.
us think. Um, let, let's move ahead to the Bologna game, man.
Yeah. Let's go.
I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I feel like if we don't
Okay.
collect 3 points here, the nerves will start to settle into the camp, and we'll be like, you know what, we've still got a lot to play for this season. But as I said to you before camera, on the other side of that, I feel like with every single 3 points we get here, they are no longer baby steps. They are no longer
No.
walking steps. We're leaping from
Mm-mm.
mountain to mountain with every win. And, 3 points here against Bologna, we'll start looking up to the ceiling going, guys, we can see it, we can
Yeah.
actually see
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I think we're still 1 or 2 match days away from being in that frame of mind of, guys, we can see it. Of course, it's all going to depend on the rivals. Okay, for example, if we draw with Bologna this weekend and both Juve and Milan pick up wins, we've got to just pick ourselves up a little bit. But if we were to draw this weekend and both Milan and Juve draw, for me at the moment, we're 2 or 3 games breaking away of the two
Yeah.
rivals. Let's just break away that one little bit more, and we can
Yeah.
start to sprint we can start to sprint towards the finish line. Would you agree, bro? Before we go into the
No,
technicalities of Bologna,
100%, 100%. I think Bologna is a little bit of a tricky side. You know, they're mid-table. They somehow, some way, find a way to, like, you know, get a lot of shots on goal. Sometimes they, you know, they have a good build-up play. Great coach as well. And then they will pose some threat to us. And beating them would be a huge step forward. Definitely, because you know, not just like, you know, you're coming from a postponed game against Sassuolo that we expected us to win. Then we go into international break, although we didn't lose any form from our players that we discussed earlier, but still Bologna will possess some threat to us. And, you know, it'll be a great boost for us to, like, you know, beat them and beat them comfortably. I hope going forward, I think it'll be a great for us.
Yeah, awesome. Harry, thanks for joining the chat once again, guys. There's 7 people in here at the moment. If you are in here, it goes without saying, like the video and leave a comment so that it helps us with the algorithms and all that fun stuff. Harry says, I'm hoping to see Sensi get an appearance from the bench. His confidence must be high after his Italy performance. I've always thought his problem is a mental one. This could be his turning point. That's great. We've had a few false dawns with Sensi before. Let's hope for more cameos off the bench and less TikToks at home with his missus, even though his missus is pretty easy on the eyes. But you know what? Sensi's style of play is just as easy on the eyes as well. And I want to say that again, bro, to be honest.
He is so fluid, man. He was playing alongside Barella and I think it was Verratti or something. And, you know, he just looked like a guy who just, like, was playing all along. It was never on, you know, off the bench. I mean, I just felt so good watching him. You know, I really hope Conte puts him, you know, sometime in the second half, maybe give Eriksen a break or something. And I'm really excited for him to come back. I think he'll be a great asset going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamalism, I hope I said that right. Thank you very much for being in the video. Sensi needs to play more to spell Brozo Barella, 100%, man. Like, as I've been saying, let's just grind out this season. Let's get that trophy that we're looking for. And next season, boys, I guarantee you we'll be going into the season with a much more confident squad. And that midfield's going to look at each other and know that anyone can debutize for anybody. I'm telling you right now, the foundations are being set. What is up, my boy Ian Kerr, all the way from Belfast, Northern Ireland, an OG and old schooler of the Inter-Worldwide crew. Nice to see you. I agree, Harry. Let's get a few more wins and create a bigger gap at the top of the table. Don Samir, I say Anthony up front with Lukaku. Trust me, bro, you don't want to see me kick a ball at all. The worst Italian to ever try and play the game. Anyway, let's go to our banners and our predicted lineups before we actually talk about the lineup that's scrolling down the bottom, guys. I'll move into, you know, just the background information, the housekeeping for the fixture. You know, we return to action after a break due to a COVID-19 outbreak and international fixtures. We got lucky, Aqueel, man, because, you know, just when they announced that we were traveling, you know, that whole stupid lie of Campionato Falso that, you know, that favors Inter, despite our momentum being like a steam train and Sassuolo having injuries and playing to Torino 2 days before. There was no such thing as advantage Inter. All of us, including Conte, wanted to play that Sassuolo game, but, you know, it is what it is. We've gotten lucky on international duty. I think Bastoni walked off holding his shoulder, to which he later said, no big deal, I'm fine, precautionary. No injuries, but a little bit of fatigue and just possible non-match fitness for players like De Vrij and lately Ivan Perisic as well. I think I also read that Alexander Kolarov was unavailable. I don't believe too many fans are losing sleep over that particular player, though. So it's kind of just Stefan De Vrij and Ivan Perisic that will probably sit this one out, bro. We're currently at the top with 65 points, 6 clear of Milan with a game in hand. And with 11 games remaining this season. So I expect all of our men to step up. I don't want any more slip-ups this season, man. Yeah, other than that, I'm looking at the team news. Barella, Sensi, and Bastoni, who were rotated for Mancini, they're expected to play. I expect Barella to start. I guess it's all about who's going to take up those last spots in the midfield. So let's talk a little bit about our predicted lineup, Aqueel. I'll let you go through it down the bottom first, man. Go for it.
Yeah, I think Handanovic, obviously, Skriniar, he's been amazing. I think he's going to start. He played all 3 games for Slovakia. He's in great form. There's no way he's going to sit on the bench. Bastoni's going to come back in. I think despite that shoulder niggle, I think he's okay. He's good to go. He's going to come back in. The only concern is, as you mentioned, is De Vrij because he hasn't had some practice sessions in. So we'll see. Conte would obviously prefer him to start because again, it's against the Bologna tricky side. So if he doesn't go, then I think Ranocchio will come into his place. But I do expect De Vrij to come back, last minute change or something. I think Hakimi will be there on the wing on the right side, that prestigious side. Man, he's been amazing all season long. Barella, Brozovic, I think will be in the middle. I think the third midfielder would be Eriksson. I think he played well for Denmark. I think the last game he played about 90 minutes all throughout. I think he was good. And the left side, Perisic, I think he will be replaced by Ashley Young. I think Ashley Young will get a go-ahead on this game. But again, it's tricky. So Conte, I think, will assess these players because I think I was listening to his press conference today, and he was mentioning that the boys will get some training session in tonight, and then obviously sometime this next morning. So I think the players will be assessed, but I feel maybe Ashley Young will get a go ahead, and then your top two, the best striking duo right now in football is Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez for sure.
100%, man, 100%. I love the lineup, and I like the fact that the Latino boys didn't have to travel to international duty.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, it looks like the rotation for each national squad did us some favors. Morocco put some opponents to bed early, which means Hakimi missed most of the last game. Lukaku didn't play that many minutes. Christian Eriksen didn't play all their minutes. Barella missed a whole game and a half. Bastoni missed a whole game and a half. No one came back and tested positive for COVID. So fingers crossed, as long as nothing happens over the next 24 hours, the only thing that we're looking at here, Aqueel, is fatigue. And I'm not prepared to whinge or complain about fatigue because it's not like we're the only team that traveled, man. Every team in the world has traveled on international duty. So let's just behave like the champions that we want to be elected as at the end of the season. Sama says, any updates on COVID cases? Heard maybe De Vrij. Bro, De Vrij actually tested negative for COVID. It's just due to his lack of training and physical activity in the last maybe 9 days because he did travel with the Dutch national team but wasn't even allowed pretty much on the training ground with the rest of the players. I think it's more match fitness, bro. It's got nothing to do with being COVID positive. Since he did really well with the Azzurri, 100%. We covered that. Darmian should start over Young. Once again, an option that I wouldn't be opposed to. However, we know what Conte's like tactically and giving his men their job. And if he thinks Ashley Young can do the job against Bologna, then so be it. At the moment, I'm just full trust in our manager's hands. I really think in the international duty, he's probably just locked himself in his office going over the Bologna game plan every second of every day. What do you think, Aqueel?
Yeah, no, that's 100% true. I think he's calculating his moves. I think he's going to be a very calculated lineup, and Darmian on the left side is an okay option, but I feel he'll hold him back to replace Hakimi on that right side, maybe in the second half or later in the game if he wants to rest some of these players. Although there's no need for it. I am completely in favor of them going all in at this point of the season. You got only 11 games to go. You're not going to be playing. I mean, you had some quick games coming up, but these players are ready. And one of the things I want to mention is sometime back, I think it was a few games before, Handanovic in one of his interviews said this is the hungriest Inter side that he has seen in a while. And that says a lot coming from your captain, who's a senior player. When he says something like that, then the morale of this team is high. These guys are raring to go. So there is no way that Conte is going to take his foot off the pedal. He's going to go all in. He's going to play his best 11. Whoever thinks, whether it be Ashley Young or Darmian or, when Kolarov is back, if he wants to come in, I think it's going to be pedal to the metal. It's going to be all the way in. I think we're going to get this job done.
I hope so, man. As I said, 2 or 3 wins on the bounce away from actually resetting the expectations again and going, all right, guys, it's ours. Let's put it to bed. But before we do that, we have to do this groundwork. I'm telling you right now, we can't be dropping points to Bologna or Sassuolo or Cagliari in the next few games, just in case our rivals behind us feel like picking up 3 dirty wins. In terms of the rival, Bologna, they play a 4-2-3-1. Their goalkeeper Skorupsi has just tested positive for COVID-19 and will miss this fixture. Not a world-class goalkeeper, but I don't care what anybody says. When your goalkeeper pulls out of your lineup prematurely, that doesn't boast well for any team. And at the end of the day, he's not a bad goalkeeper as well, and he's quite vocal. So,
and there's something about for us going against any team. Their goalkeeper somehow happens to have the best game of their careers. I remember one of these games, I think sometime, it was probably last season or sometime, Sassuolo goalkeeper wouldn't let us score for days, man. He was unbelievable. So somehow there's this thing. So I'm really happy that their goalkeeper is not going to be there. It's obviously it's going to hit them mentally. But Bologna, again, tricky side. Can anything happen? We can't take anything lightly at this point.
100%. Their replacement goalkeeper is a gentleman called Angelo Esmael da Costa Jr., who I'm sure will have to change his name to Oliver Candida Buffon at the end of the game after this one, man. So we'll see what happens.
Probably.
In terms of the other threats that come from Bologna, I remember the last time we played them. Their defender Tomiyasu is quite a versatile dude, man. He's very much able to bump players off and run around them a bit. So that encounter with, I think, Ashraf Hakimi, I think he'll be on Hakimi's side, actually. If that's the case, that'll be a real interesting matchup as well. Danilo, Sumaro. To be honest, man, as long as we can contain Orsolini, who hasn't been bad this season, he's actually quite like him. I've always liked him, but he strikes me as one of those mid-table players that might look for a move at the end of the season. And of course, we just got to make sure we contain Rodrigo Palacio, because every time I watch a Bologna game, he's still got it. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Sorry for the language. If Conte and Marotta were to come out tomorrow and go, we're taking Palacio back on like 50K a week, something really small like that, I'd be like, oh, bring him back. Bring my boy back. He's such a gentleman. And I don't know if you've noticed, Aqueel, bro, but this guy has turned himself into a right winger / he plays between the lines as well half the time now. Where did he get this from?
Dude, he's such an engine, man. He's like the Toyota of the cars, man. He just keeps on going, does not slow down. He still got it. But since we were talking about him, I read this morning. I'm not 200% on it, so maybe somebody can fact check us. I think he may be suspended for this game. So
someone just said that.
Cool.
So we need to rearrange that. No Palacio.
No Palacio, so that's a good sign. I mean,
Is it though? Because I could have sworn we're so close to the Scudetto and he loves Inter. You can almost guarantee Palacio throws this game, bro, for sure.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
I guess we'll see who's going to come in to replace Palacio when we get a chance. Jamalism says, do you guys think Lautaro and Sanchez not playing during the break will help or hurt them? I think neither. I think we'll take the pros and cons from each situation in the sense that they're probably both the most match fit physicality wise. But, they might be a little bit rusty, but you'd really hope that players that didn't travel on international duty were putting in their training work. Yeah. And you can almost, just put your faith in Conte and the boys for that one as well. Now, Biggie says, whatever happened to last season's young guys looks like an amateur nowadays, bro. Look at his age. Look at his career. He was never going to come here and set the world on fire as a wing back. I've always liked him as a player because I think he's very versatile in what he can do. He can drop back. He's tactically aware. His crossing game and his shooting game, when there was at their peak, it was lovely to watch. The back end of his career at Aston Villa and when he signed for Manchester United, he was a very, very good player. And the fact that he's been able to come to Italy, adapt, play in the team that's coming first, I understand he's never going to look like the prettiest player, but I think in context, just a little bit more appreciation towards Ashley Young. What do you think, bro?
No, definitely. Coming from Premier League to Italy is such a demanding move, and especially playing for Conte. It's not easy. Going through that regimen, going through that training, learning the system. It was a momentous challenge that he took, and he did it. He did really well. I'm not gonna hate this guy. He has really good IQ, football IQ. I mean, although he did cause some, he did give a penalty against in some games before, but I don't take that away from so many good games that he's had. So he's definitely a good player. He's a little aged, so he has some up and downs. But when the time comes, and this is the time, and he knows that he's at this age when he knows that this is the moment. He's gonna give his best. He's going to give his all. And again, Conte, if Conte doesn't feel that he's up for it, he's not going to play. If he thinks that Young can do the job, he's going to be in the lineup. So I just got to trust Conte on this, and Young will do the job.
Yeah, well said, man. Jamalism, once again, are we serious about getting DeMarco back for next season, get rid of Young and get him? I think that's the plan. However, don't count out the fact that Hellas Verona actually have a redemption option in this contract. So if they decide to come out of their ass and put 20 million on the table, which I don't think in this COVID market that club has, but I'm not also going to say that as a fact. I'll need to check that properly because you never know. He's been one of their best players this season. And Juric strikes me as a manager that isn't going to just sit back and go, okay, one of my best players can piss off for the rest of the season. For me personally, I'd love to take DeMarco back, but something also strikes me at the fact that is he really ready to step it up from a mid-table club to a Scudetto winning side? If we do go on to win this title, Aqueel, brother, I know for a fact Marotta and Conte are not going to sleep on this title. A lot of fans are thinking that maybe Conte will win this title and walk. I can tell you right now, if we don't win the title and bomb it, Conte walks and burns the house down behind him. If we do win it, I guarantee you, this guy will pull out a dagger and go for the neck, and he'll go again next season and the season after that. Conte is a coach that really, really likes to coast on his own momentum, and once you stop that momentum, he does kind of chuck a little bit of a hissy fit. So yeah, if we can close this title out, it'll prove me wrong in so many avenues. My whole mentality will flip from, can we jump the gun over Juventus, to we're about to steamroll this league for the next 2 or 3 years. So baby steps, let's get this season done. And then, to be honest, I actually think a lot of the pieces of the puzzle fall into place.
For sure.
There is a gentleman's agreement in place, though, where we can still get DeMarco. Fantastic. That's why I leave this comment section open, bro. I love to be fact checked.
Yeah, and even if we get him, so for the next season, I think he'll be a good option coming off the bench. I think because if we are to build from winning the title this season to the next step, I think the best option would be to upgrade on that left side, get a player. You obviously will have a lot of cash incoming, so you'll have some opportunities to look at some players, get an upgrade, get DeMarco back if the economic situation works, and get him for the second option, because we're going to be playing different competitions, and we're going to have the Champions League, which we should be eyeing, of course. So, it's good to have some depth, obviously, on the left side, because it's been a little weak for us.
At the end of the day, man, if as I said, it all comes down to closing out this season. But if we're going into next season's Champions League in pot 1 instead of pot 3, I think a lot of fans need to realize the actual difference in this. Like the difference in not having to rotate between Real Madrid and another big team, or Dortmund and Barca, or Tottenham Hotspur and another big team. Like, we will have the depth to make it over the line once again, win this Scudetto this season, and next season starts to fall into place a little bit more solid. Let's go through a couple of statistics that are interesting for this one. Bologna has only beaten Inter twice in their last 13 encounters, with one of them coming last season in that 2-1 horrendous result. So I'm hoping that psychopathic side of Conte is also putting like pins in the Bologna pin goal behind the scenes, man. I want him to, backs against the wall, absolutely kill them. We, on the other hand, we're coming off 8 Serie A wins in a row. We've been the informed team in the competition for close to 3 months now. Another win on the weekend will take us to a 9-game winning streak. And, the only time we ever replicated that was in 2007, I think, when we won 17 in a row in that season, where basically there was no real competition, to be honest. Romelu Lukaku has 19 goals this season, with Lautaro has 14, which is a combined total of, you guys can do the math. It's a pretty easy one. But he's also got 8 assists this season, which puts him joint leading with Henrik Mkhitaryan and Milinkovic-Savic. It could be another Romelu Lukaku bumper car masterclass this weekend, bro. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I can't wait for him to go. I think he will definitely, be on the scoring sheet for us this game. And I also expect him to provide an assist to Lautaro Martinez. He's going to tally up his goal scoring to about 20, have 9 assists. He's definitely the MVP for me this season. Not just from goal scoring perspective, but providing the assists, running those routes, running those plays, man. He's been incredible.
I don't think anyone at the end of that Sevilla game last season could have foreseen the growth and the change in Romelu
Yeah.
Lukaku's play. Like, he was really good last season, but
Mm.
this season he's been, and I've said it in a few videos and I don't mind saying it again, if he has another one season like this, you're going to have to say that he's got a better Inter career than Adriano. And I don't like saying stuff like that, but when you look at
Yeah.
physicality, mentality, consistency, physiological adaptation to the game, Romelu Lukaku's career is heading in that direction where we're going to have to look back on it in 5 or 6 years' time and go, dog, this guy was one of the best in his position that ever took that forward role.
Yeah.
His hold-up play and his ability to just control the ball past defenders in tight spaces this season. Where did he get this tight ball control from this season, man? Like
Man,
that in that
yeah.
that goal, that assist for Lautaro in the derby in the 4th or 5th minute.
Oh,
That was incredible, Aqueel, man. Now I'm on the
world
look. I want
class.
Lukaku to get a hat. I want him to get a hat trick tomorrow now, bro.
Might as well just get it, man. He has the form to do it. He has the quality, and he has the opponent to do it. So let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nah, Biggie, in the chat once again, we need a starting left wing back if we want to have a say in Champions League next season. I agree. I don't think DeMarco is ready yet. Someone like Gosens or Kostic would be perfect. Bro, I said to some friends this week, because we don't know Inter's financial situation to the T, all we can see is every Italian news outlet trying to destabilize everything left, right, and center. So until we actually see some figures or some evidence or the club exchanges some shares or anything like that, I actually don't know what our plans are in the Mercato. I'd like to think that these rumors of us having to sell a big name aren't true, because to be honest, if we have to raise 120 to 130 million, we're going to need to sell more than one player, to be honest. I said it this week, we are Gosens and Rodrigo de Paul away from winning the Scudetto again next season without me even having to think about it. If we were to lock down Gosens from Atalanta and Rodrigo de Paul to add to this midfield, I would dare say that there is not a team in Serie A that can touch us. What would you say to a statement like that, bro?
100%. I completely agree with that. You know, the Gosens on the left will be a huge upgrade. He's been incredible for Atalanta this season, and the last couple of seasons actually. But he would be a major upgrade. And DePaul, he's also evolved a lot in the last couple of seasons for Udinese. He's been that centerpiece, and he's been really fueling that team, and we've seen that time and time again, and he's in like almost a proven player in Serie A already. So getting him in for the midfield, I think it's a huge boost, definitely for next season. I think we should start thinking about gearing up. And what you said about economic situation, I think that's very true. We don't know, and it's not just for us, it's for basically for other teams too. So a lot of rumors about Lautaro and Lukaku are swirling around, but it's unlikely that any club would splash that kind of money coming right just at the gate of the pandemic. We're not completely out of it, so it's still going to take some time. Obviously some of the big clubs will spend some money, obviously got to keep up, but I don't think the core will change too much. The influx of cash, I think, will come from the winning the title. Obviously we're thinking about getting a new sponsor deal, I think, as well. We did the whole rebranding thing, so a lot of different avenues are coming about. So there will be some cash generation as well, and I think as soon as the pandemic slows down, I think the Chinese government will ease up the sanctions on Sunnings as well. So I think there will be some opportunities there for us. So hopefully we can retain this core, add Gosens, add DePaul, add a few more players here and there. I think we'll definitely be there next season, man, for sure. Nobody can touch us, and I definitely hope that we make some kind of a run in Champions League as well next season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. In terms of that shirt sponsor, like, this is something I've been wanting for many years now. I don't necessarily have the sentimental attachment to Pirelli that some fans do. I mean, I love the fact that they've been on the kit the whole time, but I value results more than anything else. And we can't, a club of our stature cannot be sticking to an 8 or 9 million per year shirt sponsor. It's not enough. And if Pirelli can't up that, then it's as simple as that. I need to do a lot more research on this whole potential Samsung thing in the background. But if that really is the case, if we did strike a deal with Samsung, we are looking at a double or a triple revenue in terms of our shirt sponsor there. So I'd like to see a lot of the rival fans who were taking the piss out of us a couple of weeks ago for losing Pirelli. We'll see how funny it is next season. And that's what I've been saying online. I've been saying, we'll see how funny it is when all of these gradual changes of shifting Inter into the market frame of the world, at the end of the day, Juventus changed their logo and ended up with the shittiest looking logo in the world. But that shittiest looking logo bought them Cristiano Ronaldo and so much more revenue. And had they had the director's board and anybody with half a brain behind the scenes, they would have made that work a lot better, to be honest, man. So let's hope that we can make it work where they didn't. That's my opinion, bro.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know what? It works because everything is evolving, right? Everything is ever changing. New generation comes about. They obviously want to see something, new, and it's refreshing. I'm wearing one of the logos that I love the most from Inter. But this logo also changed some time back, and then now we're onto the new one. So this is a change that people will adapt to. The new logo is pretty decent. I like it. My new gear is also arriving next week, so I'll be wearing that as well. So I already ordered it, man. It looked. I was like, I gotta represent. So they gotta be ready for the title match. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I think it's throughout. I think teams do change their branding. It's a refreshing change, and I think it'll be a positive change for us for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We've been going for about 30 minutes now. There's double digits in this video now. So if you are here, please like the video and don't be afraid to leave a comment and join the chat. I'm going to keep Aqueel around a little bit longer. Before we go into a prediction, let's talk, might as well while I got you here, let's talk a little bit about the other couple of fixtures that we're going to be keeping an eye on in this particular match day. So it kicks off really early for me. I'm looking forward to getting home on this Saturday night and watching AC Milan versus Sampdoria at 9:30. How early is that? Good for me. How do you reckon that one's going to go, man? Because that one could really go either way for
either
Milan.
Way.
What do you think? For me personally, I'm predicting a Milan win. Sampdoria very, very tough. I think they got a point out of Milan last time this season. I don't think they beat them. But either way, I think you've got a few Milan players who are a little bit fitter than they were a couple of weeks ago. But I did see Zlatan walk off with a physio at the end of his Sweden fixture. God, that's got to piss off a lot of Milan fans, man.
No, and good for us. I mean, obviously no hate, but Sampdoria is a tricky side. They can really tough it out and make life difficult. So I think it will be much more of a draw. I think Milan is, they're there, but few step backs they've had some difficulty closing the games, and Sampdoria will not be an easy match for them for sure. I'm not sure if I think it's a home game for them, but
it is.
Yeah, either way, you know what, it doesn't really matter. Sampdoria is going to come out, they're going to park the bus, and they're actually not that bad going forward. Like, on the counter, our ex-player Kandreva is there. He's going to be probably running that engine on the high octane, so he's going to probably cause them a lot of problem. There's obviously other players out there, so it'll be a tricky game. I expect to draw in that game. So yeah.
Oh man, I would absolutely love a draw, man. Honestly, I would love the rivals dropping points at the moment. Is just like us getting 3 points, man. Like if I wake up to Juventus dropping even a point to Torino tomorrow, oh man, I'll be dancing around the house, bro. Like they can't afford to drop a single point now. We've backed them against the wall to the point where slip one more time, you might as well just stay falling, to be honest. What else have we got? Samp have nothing to lose. I predict a draw. Milan's home form has been horrendous. Yes, it has, to be honest, man. I don't think they'll be able to break them down at all, to be honest. But they've got that quality to get the ball into the box, and as long as Ibra gets a look, he'll score. As long as Kessié gets a frame, he'll score. As long as someone gets a chance to fall on the floor, they'll grab a penalty. So.
No, they'll do their bits. Milan will do their bits, no doubt about it. I mean, they're in the mix too, so they're gonna go for everything they can. But I have some faith in Sampdoria, and obviously you touched base a little bit on Juventus and Torino. That could be an interesting game as well.
Let's talk a little bit about Juventus going into that game with COVID up the arse and a couple of injuries as well. It's not boasting well for the fact that our fixture got delayed and theirs didn't. But Sassuolo came out and basically personally said that they weren't going to travel to the game to Roma or play the game against Roma. So you got to wonder, like in that whole Inter-Sassuolo fixture, what really happened? Was there just like a massive outbreak in the space of 5 or 6 hours, and it was more precautionary than anything? The Milan and Sassuolo, they just pulled the plug completely.
Yeah. I think it was more of a precautionary thing. There were a few players who tested positive, but it didn't seem like nothing too major. I think they just wanted to contain that bubble and keep it, within that group. Obviously, it's a risky thing, but I think that game that our game that got postponed, I think it would. I think we were obviously going to win that match, no doubt about it. We were coming in hot, and we were going to take care of that business. But I don't see that too much of a hurdle. I think we're going to take them on. We're going to take them apart, no doubt about it. I think we'll be a smooth sail from here.
Yeah, we tend to play a lot better against teams that actually have the balls to come and attack us as well. Like the
Yeah.
last thing you want to do to this Inter and Conte team is actually give us space on the break, which is
Mm.
not something I think Bologna is going to do, but it could be something
Yeah.
Sassuolo does.
Yeah.
So we'll see
That's
what
true.
happens there. Let's finish this video off. Predictions for Bologna and Inter. We'll go to you, Aqueel, first. I'm guessing it's the same as your awesome match preview you read online.
Yeah. I'm still keeping up with that. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory for Inter. And I can almost write who will score. I think Hakimi will get the score. I think Lukaku will get the score. And I think Lautaro will be on the scoring sheet as well. I do give Bologna a goal because they have this high percentage of shots that they take somehow. They create these opportunities, and which is good for them. Which is obviously good for them. Again, no hate. So I will give them a goal, somehow deflected shot or from 500 yards away or something, wherever, something that will shot will come and somehow will crawl in the back of the net. But I do feel that we're going to take them 3-1 and we're going to take this game.
Awesome. Nah, Biggie says 0-2 for Inter. Hopefully we can keep the clean sheet. Classic Conte result, 2-0 again for Sub-Zero. For me personally, I don't think it's going to be that comfortable. I think it's definitely going to be that bite your fingernails towards the end of the game sort of thing. I wouldn't be surprised to see us lead 2-0 and then concede a goal. Also wouldn't be surprised to see it go to 1-1. We have what I'm calling the hot zone of conceding a goal this season, bro. And it usually comes in between 65 and 79. That little 15-minute block of 65 to 79, I have my mobile phone in my hand with Bet365 on the other end, just waiting to cash in on some sort of stupid odds, man, because that is the one period of the game that we just can't seem to lock it down. It's weird, bro, because if we get to like minute 85, 86, we're going to close this game out, man. I actually don't feel as stressed as I did before. It's that little lapse in concentration when there's still about a quarter of the game left and we think we should have this. We should have this. Oh, shit, we don't have this. We need to go again. But this one thing that this Conte team does that I have loved from the moment he got here, you cannot rule this team out until they're on the bus back home. And that never happened with Spalletti. That never happened. With Conte, we have played games where we have been dog shit for 90 minutes. And then, oh, look at that. We scored 2 goals in stoppage time. What do you feel? What do you think?
No, that is so accurate, man. That little time in the second half is so crucial, and I don't know if it's like a I don't know what happened. I think it's something to do with like a lot of changes that we make. Sometimes the people come in, like Gagliardini steps into the game somehow, or like that little lapse of concentration there. I think that just dips a little bit, and just before we know it, they're back in it, and we're like, oh shit, now we got to go all in again. And somehow we do manage. So, you mentioned it right. It's not going to be an easy game. Bologna is not going to be an easy game. They're a decent side. They're a mid-table team. That's been our trouble zone, the mid-table teams. However, I do feel that the guys are in good form. Even with the international break and everything, these guys kept up their game. Nobody got hurt. That's the most important. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got the COVID case positive. So the team is ready. They just have a little bit of fatigue, but I think they'll be ready. They'll come in. I think we'll probably close this game out, I think in the late 70th minute, somewhere around that time. And then we'll have our bench come in. They're going to hold the game off. So yeah, not going to be an easy game, but I think we'll just do just about enough. And that's really what we need to do at this point. 11 games to go. There will be some tough games. There will be some, these nerve-wracking games, like the games that you think that we got to win this in the first half, but that's going to stretch on to the 80th minute. That's going to happen. That happens every time, and we just have to grind out the results from this point on till the end. the results will matter. How it
Yeah,
happened does not matter. We'll forget about it in about a month's time. Well, we won't even talk about like how much of a struggle that game was. We'll talk about, hey, we won 3-1 against Bologna that day. That's all we're going to remember,
bro.
and that's all that matters.
Bro, I'm telling you, I don't care if we play horrendously. I will forget the game 1 second after the whistle blows if we've got the 3 points, man. As simple
Mm,
as that. Just get the three
yeah.
points. Guys, we have been going for 40 minutes, which is pretty long for a match preview, but I absolutely love it. So I want to thank my boy Aqueel for joining us. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, definitely. You're very welcome, and I'm glad to be on. Do check out our match preview on the website. Check out our socials. We'll keep you guys up to date throughout the match. And thank you for having me, Anthony.
Anytime, my brother. You'll be seeing a lot more of Aqueel and you'll be seeing a lot more of myself. And we've got some big things in the works coming as well. But that's not important. What's important is just beating Bologna and just taking those massive
Mm,
leaps to the
yeah.
Scudetto. So if you are new here, be sure to like and subscribe and share the content. If you are a regular, thank you once again for tuning in. And we will see you next time on Inter Worldwide. Forza Inter Worldwide. Ciao ragazzi.